Hi guys, welcome to this module on linking tasks in Microsoft Project. First of all, I'm going to highlight all the tasks, and then I'm going to click on this link icon on the task tab. Now immediately that places the task numbers in the predecessors column, and I get a list shown on the Gantt chart. If I go to the Format tab and put critical tasks on, you'll see that these are all critical because there's no time gap between them. Now that may be the case in some projects, but for a whole project to be critical like that is quite unusual, so I'm going to delete that off. But that is a quick way of doing linking tasks, and it's also something that you can do for a group of tasks, 3 or 4 tasks, rather than the whole thing. But I'm going to do this manually, and you can see how it works. So we've got install software room as our first task. So test software room 1 follows install software room 1, so I can put a 2 in there. And then train software room 1 follows test, so I can put a 3 in there, task 3. And then room 1 complete follows task 4. Now I'm not going to say install software room 2 follows room 1 complete, so I'm just going to leave that one for a while and we'll come back to that one. Test software room 2 follows install software room 2, so I can put a 6 in there. And then train on software room 2 follows test software room 2, so I can put a 7 in there. And then room 2 complete follows train on software room 2, so I can put an 8 in there. So I have got 2 sets of steps, as I call them, steps there, so I could have grouped those and clicked the chain link and that would have worked. Now project complete has to follow 2 tasks. It has to follow train on software room 1 complete, which is task 5, and room 2 complete, which is task 9. So to do that, I type 5, 9. And you see the link there. Now back to this one. When you type in the numbers like this, it's putting the default link, which is a one task finishes before the next one starts, or an FS link. But I don't want that to be the case for this one. So this little scenario I want to paint for you is that 2 engineers are going to do these tasks. When the senior engineer appears, he will dictate when the junior engineer can start doing his tasks. So I'm going to type 2 SS there, which means start to start, and when I click away you can see how that works. So the line comes out of the top task and points into the bottom task. So basically the start of the top task will dictate when the start of this bottom task can happen. So for example, if the chief engineer is delayed, and if I pull all these tasks forward a bit, everything is either pushed forward by that top task or pushed forward by this link here for this second set of tasks. I'll just undo that to bring them back. Now typing 2SS, how did I know I could do that? If I double click onto this task and go onto the predecessors tab, you can see the full name of it there, start to start, with the abbreviation SS. Now if I drop this little arrow down, you can see the other links that's in there. So finish to start was the default one. Now I don't need to put FS on there unless I'm going to qualify it with some lead or lag time, which we'll do shortly. Every other one though, SS, FF for finish to finish, and SF for start to finish, I do need to qualify so the computer knows what type of link I am doing. So I'll leave that on start to start, click OK to that, and I'll just go through the other types. So I'm just going to type a few tasks down the bottom here to do the finish to finish one, and then the start to finish one. So these will all be 1-day tasks, and then let's see the finish to finish one. So task B is going to be driven by task A using the finish to finish link. So I need to type in there 12 FF, and when I press enter you can see the link. So the finish of task A will dictate when task B can finish. So a little example of that would be task A is installing plug sockets into a room. Task B is testing those sockets. So I can't finish task B until task A is finished. Now there might be a bit of a delay on this task. They probably won't finish exactly at the same time. So I'm just going to show you how you put a delay on a task. I'm just going to double click into that. So lag and lead. So lag is what I want. I'm going to put 1H for hour and click OK, and then you can see that. So the finish of that will dictate when that can finish, and there's a 1 hour delay. Now this one is a start to finish, so I'm going to type 15 SF, and now because this is going to go before the start date, it's going to ask me if that's okay. I click OK to that, and you can see how the start of this task will dictate when this one can finish. Now if I just pull that forward a little bit so you can see it better. This is quite a common task, although I have seen some textbooks where it says it's not very common. This is like just-in-time delivery, so the start of this dictates when that finishes. So I could be starting to dig a foundation hole. I want the wet concrete delivery to finish as I am due to start, or I want the catering, the start of the catering to be laid out in a wedding reception to dictate when the transport for that finishes. So there are lots of different uses of this. The benefit of this is if I pull this forward, sometimes people use this as a milestone. That could be a handover to a different department or a different company. If it's delayed, it just pulls everything with it. So depending on what type of business you're in, depends whether you use these type of tasks or you would use these ones as default follow-ons. If I pull that forward, you see what's happened there? That's moved forward, but this one hasn't, so there's left a big gap there. Whereas when I pull this one forward, it always pulls everything with it. Now I'm not saying that's not, you can't do that, because you could obviously move that one forward and that one forward and so on and so on. But it's a bit more of an effort to keep on top of your tasks. Let's pull these back to the start position. Now I'm going to do another task, task E. I'm going to do a 5-day task, and then I'm going to do task F, which is also going to be a 5-day task, and I'm just going to link these. So that's just going to be 18, normal link. So let's say in this example, task E is paint the undercoat of a room, and task F is paint the second coat of a room. Do I need to wait until the whole of the undercoat is done before I can start doing the second coat? So I'm going to say not. So if I go in there and go -4, 4D is a default, so days it'll come back. I'm basically saying there, look, after 1 day of task E, I can start doing task F. Now I personally don't like the way it does that, where it doubles round. So I'm going to change this link to be 18 SS plus 1. See what that looks like. So now the start of that task dictates when this can happen. So if the undercoat is delayed, so will that be, and that will be pushed forward. One more 5-day task. Sometimes there are occasions when you want to split a task. Sometimes a computer does that, depending on what you're asking it to do, but I'm going to go back onto the task tab, and then this little tool here is split task. Click on split task. This is just a guide. When I put my mouse onto the task, that becomes active, and you can see the date as I move forward. So if I want to split from Wednesday the 15th, if I click and hold and move forward, now I've got 2 sets of dates, and I'm going to Wednesday the 22nd, and I'm going to let go there. That's me creating that split. At any time I can bring that back. If I didn't like that split, I can just pull that back together and do it again, or I can split it multiple times if it's a long task. That's how you split a task. Now I'm just going to delete these tasks across the bottom. Now constraints. I want to put a constraint onto the project complete date, just to show you how that works. So I'm going to double click on project complete. I'm going to the advanced tab, which is where they are, and these are the constraints. So that is the default setting. I'm going to say this must finish on the 15th. See what happens here. 15th. Okay to that. That constraint's on. So basically this is all red, and now because I've put a constraint on there, there is no slack in this project. If I try to move that top task forward a day, it comes up, says this action will, not may, or not could, will cause a scheduling conflict. Now I may want to continue, but if I do continue, I must remove the constraint and put another one on, or I cancel, which I'm going to do, and get somebody else maybe to do that task. Now you have to be careful with constraints, because if you put constraints on maybe all your milestones, for example, people tend to think like that. You're basically tying yourself up and allowing very, very little slack in a project plan. There's another feature you could use that's more visual than just putting a constraint on, and we'll give you a visual indicator if you're going past the constraint or you've hit that constraint, and that is a deadline marker. So I'm just going to double click on that. This is deadline marker. We're still on the advanced tab, so I'll put this into the future. So I'll put this onto the 22nd first off. So this is 22nd, and you get, for this task, you get a green arrow appearing on the screen. Now if I put that into the past, if I just double click onto that and put that into the past, if you go past that deadline marker, so if I go back to the 7th, click OK, you've gone past that, you get a warning in the information column which tells you you've gone past your deadline marker. So that's more of a visual indicator for a project manager to, if you get close to this deadline marker and you haven't done certain tasks, you need to flag that up maybe. Now to remove both of these, it's the reverse process. Double clicking on that task and just clearing that date out of that box will remove the deadline marker, and then double clicking on this task, changing this back to the default setting, which is as soon as possible for this project, which is going from forward from a start date, and then again deleting the date out of that box. That will remove both of those constraints and deadline marker. So that is the end of this phase. In the next phase we're going to look at resources, but thank you for your time.